All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. First, I want to welcome everyone and thank you guys for joining us here today. I see a lot of new faces, a couple of familiar faces. So again, thank you everyone for taking the time here to join us with us. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Matt Rogers and I'm the sales engineer here at MeasureSquare. I've been here for a little over 3 years now, but before that I worked for the stone and tile subcontractors in New York and Boston. We're excited to have you here today for this special webinar where we will be showcasing the latest updates and features to MeasureSquare Stone and Tile. Our development team has been hard at work over the past few months to enhance the program based on customers like you who had their particular needs and requirements based on their unique workflows. Bottom line, unlike a lot of the other software companies, we're always listening to our customers and always looking to improve the program. This update is one of our biggest yet, with over 20 new features and updates to make the program even more powerful and user-friendly than ever before. Today we'll walk through some of the most impactful enhancements and demonstrate how they can streamline your estimating process, improve accuracy, and ultimately win more bids for both commercial and residential projects. Whether you guys are longtime users or new to MeasureSquare, we're confident that you guys will find valuable insights and practical tips to use in your everyday tasks. So let's go ahead and dive in and explore what's new. Before we begin and get too deep into things here, we're just going to take a quick overview of our agenda here today. We're going to start with some of the advanced takeoff tools, some different ways to estimate and different ways to draw different areas in the program. From there, we're going to dive into a little bit more of the worksheets. We have some updates that kind of make these a little bit more automatic and a little bit more detailed. So we'll talk about that for a little bit. From there, we'll jump again to the slab nesting. This will include the slab nesting, the dry lay, the Slab Optimizer, and even some updates to the shop drawing process, just to streamline this a little bit. After we talk about some of these updates here on the slide deck here, we're going to jump into our product demo, where we'll actually be able to take a look at and see how some of these different updates work. After that, I'll give a quick rundown on how to get this update. If you guys are already MeasureSquare users, you can download the new update for free. If you are not a MeasureSquare user yet, you can go ahead and download the trial, and we'll be able to get you guys started as well. After all of that, we'll go ahead and wrap up here with a Q&A session to get any questions, any concerns that anybody might have. We'll get all of that answered for you guys. So we're going to go ahead and continue. So we'll start here with the advanced takeoff tools. We're going to start with the drawing with angles. So we've been always working on improving and updating the program and changing the way you guys can actually draw within the program. With this new update, we can actually now draw with angles. Instead of just drawing at simple 45 degrees or 90-degree angles, we can now actually add angles directly to our pieces or our areas while we're drawing them. And I'll show you guys exactly how that works. With the ability to add these angles, we can actually also view those angles as well. And even after the piece is created, we can still go back and adjust those angles on various pieces. Again, we'll get into all of these different details, all of these different updates, a little bit more in depth in the demo here. I just want to touch on some of these before we actually get there. We can also see there are new tagging updates. So these tagging updates are actually pretty across the board. We'll see updates to the tags in both the takeoff, the worksheets, the Slab Optimizer, the dry lay, and even the shop drawings as well. So with this, we can actually view different tags within the program. We can actually pick and choose which tags we want to see. So maybe some of the tags that we're using are just for organization, and some others we want to actually display either in the bid package or in the Slab Optimizer or the shop drawings. Another nice little feature, a nice little update to the tagging system is now we have the ability to set default tags. So now we don't have to go ahead and rename the tags every time we get into a new project. We'll actually be able to set those defaults and utilize those on every project we go and start from now on. Another nice little update, this is actually something that was requested after one of our recent updates. So in one of our recent updates, we added the ability to add hole templates directly to our program. So you can drag and drop different holes like a kitchen sink or a faucet hole directly into a countertop. But now with this update, we can actually save multiple holes together and include those and drop those in together. So something like a sink, we can include the faucet hole, save that as a template, and then automatically bring that into a countertop that we have. The last little update here in the takeoff side is just the ability to display alternate units. And I mentioned this in the takeoff side of things. but those alternate units will go all the way through the program in the worksheets, in the Slab Optimizer, it's the shop drawings, and everything else as well. But this gives us the ability to show not only imperial or metric, but we can actually show both side by side. So if you guys are working with international or overseas suppliers or factories or quarries, it's now very easy to include both the metric and imperial dimensions for all the different pieces that you guys might have. After we touch on a little bit of the takeoffs, we'll actually switch over to the worksheets. There are a lot of new updates to the worksheets as well. First, you can see the automatic reloads and the worksheet creation. So what this will do is, instead of having to kind of jump back to our worksheets or jump back from our takeoff to our worksheet and hit that reload button every single time, now this will actually allow us to automatically include any changes or revisions that we made in the takeoff. It's automatically going to update that in the worksheet. We don't have to worry about making sure that we hit the reload button or be concerned that maybe we're missing something that we already changed in the takeoff there. Along with that, if we are working in a new project, we can actually tell the program to automatically create worksheets as we go ahead and jump from the takeoff to the worksheets. So as soon as we switch, as soon as we're done with our takeoff, when we load in the worksheet tab, it's going to automatically create a new worksheet for us. We have some adjustments to the way that we actually price material as well. So of course, we can still price everything the way that we have been pricing with the usage quantities that we have in all of our pieces. But now we can actually tell the program to price based on other aspects of these materials. So the first one you can see is the pricing by slab. So we have a lot of customers that maybe they don't want to price based on the square footage that they're installing or the square footage of the pieces they need, but they want to price based on the slab size or the number of slabs they're using. So essentially, this allows us to pull the data from the Slab Optimizer or from the dry lay, utilize that square footage that's being used from all of the slabs, not just the product usage, and include that as part of our pricing automatically. Alongside that is the net area pricing. So similar to the way that we have been pricing already with the product usage, we can actually adjust this and show the net area pricing instead. So if we're looking to kind of cut down and show just the net area pricing on maybe an L-shaped piece or a piece with a sink cutout and only price based on what is actually being used there, we can include that as well. We have some other updates to the worksheets in here as well. We can see the worksheet summaries. So this is just a nice little feature, a nice little addition to the worksheets. We'll be able to see this once we get into the demo here. But every worksheet, we can include that worksheet summary. It's going to include a nice little summary at the bottom with our subtotals, our tax, and different quantities like that. We do have an additional column that we've been added in here as well, the area type column. This is a nice way to separate different pieces that we have in our program. So if we wanted to see maybe the countertops versus the splashes and the laminates, we can now actually group things in the worksheet based on these groupings automatically and have that column in here in the worksheets. We do have a few other adjustments in here as well. The template management system, we've added a new button to make this a little bit easier to save and create new worksheet templates. We also have some changes to the way that the worksheet templates work, just to kind of give us a little bit easier use when we're actually utilizing those different worksheets. The last thing I have mentioned in here is that partner software integration. We're working with a couple of different software partners right now to integrate a couple of their solutions with our program and make the transition process from MeasureSquare to some of these other guys a little bit more streamlined, a little bit more easier, a little bit more intuitive here. I'll touch on this a little bit and just kind of show you what we're actually implementing there to make that process easier. The last thing we're going to talk about here today is the Streamlined slab nesting. So this will involve anything in the Slab Optimizer or the dry lay, but now we actually have the ability to automatically import directly from the takeoffs. So in the past, we've always been able to import all of our data from the worksheets. We can pick and choose which worksheets we want to use, but now with the program, we can actually automatically just pull in data directly from the takeoff that we have and utilize that information. And similar to that, within the Slab Optimizer, you can actually very easily find different pieces that you have. So maybe you have a piece that is too big for a slab. We can now actually just right-click on that piece within the Slab Optimizer, and the program will actually allow us to jump directly to that piece, add a seam, or make any adjustments that we might need, and then, of course, bring that back into the Slab Optimizer. Some other things that we have here in the slab nesting, the enhanced dimension display. So we've had in the past a couple of complaints that maybe the units, especially on smaller pieces, may not be visible or hard to see when we load in the Slab Optimizer, especially on like a splash or a laminate piece that's very skinny. We now have some updates to this to automatically adjust the sizing of these dimensions, automatically rotate some of those pieces or some of the dimensions to make those a little bit easier to see in the program. I mentioned the tags earlier as well. Again, we can always come in here and adjust, show specific tags with all these different pieces. So if we're looking to show maybe the room type or the unit type of a certain area, we can now include that automatically and just show the tags that we want to in here. The last thing that we see here is in regards to the dry lay. So in the dry lay system, once we add pieces to our slab, we now have an enhanced right-click menu allowing us to rotate pieces, delete pieces, or even auto-rotate pieces based on those slab directions. I do have a little bonus update. There is actually a new help tab within the program. This actually replaces the current cloud tab, but this help tab actually gives us access to the cloud. It also gives us access to the MeasureSquare knowledge base with links to articles and help articles within our website, as well as a link to our Udemy course. So it's very easy to access that Udemy course and get started on that free tutorial that we have available there. All right. So from here, we're going to go ahead and jump into the demo. So let me go ahead and just switch real quick. I'm going to switch over to MeasureSquare Stone. All right. So right now we can see I have this kitchen countertop in here. The first thing I want to talk about that we mentioned a little bit earlier is just those angles that we talked about. So again, right now we can actually see some of the angles for these pieces. We can see it's pretty much all 90-degree angles for everything that we have in here already. We can actually toggle those angles on or off if we want to. So up at the top in the View Options drop-down, we can come in here and turn off that angle. We're going to turn that back on for right now because we definitely want to see those and see how we can actually adjust those different pieces. Again, just like the way that we added the update in the last update a couple of months ago, where we can come in here and update these sizes. If we wanted to change this to 15 inches, we can actually just make that change and adjust that piece. But now we can actually do the same thing for the different angles that we might have. So if I want to come in here, click on this angle, we can actually control which edge wants to move. So right now we have this left edge highlighted. Maybe I want to move this right edge out. We can select that edge, or we can come back, select this edge. We can also use Control E on the keyboard to toggle back and forth between those. But with this angle highlighted, I can actually just come in here. We can type in maybe 130 degrees, hit enter, and it's going to automatically make that change for us. You can see it's going to keep that 15.5 inch dimension for this leg. But again, we can come back, make this change again, swing this back to 90 degrees, and set that back to where it was. So this makes it very easy to come in here and update pieces that we already have created. But I did mention that we can come in here and draw out angles in new ways as well. So again, if I come over here to the side here real quick, all I want to do is use the Draw Area tool. When I come in here, I can come in here again. I can type in dimensions. But now, once I start drawing out this next edge, we can see that it's actually going to show us that angle that we have. All I need to do is hit Tab on the keyboard. The program will switch to the angle. I can then type in maybe 105 inches or 105 degrees, make that dimension, and set that in here as well. Again, we can hit that Tab button again, say 90 degrees. We'll say set that edge there. And of course, we can actually come back in here and set in all these different pieces that we have for this countertop. So we can actually see right now we have our different dimensions. Let's go ahead and adjust these sizes. Again, it's very easy to adjust piece sizes in here. So maybe we want 25 inches. We can make that change here, and let's set it in here as well. And set this piece and get all these different sizes that we might need for all of these different edges. Again, maybe we want to extend this a little bit. Say this is 24 inches and create that larger countertop that we might have. So again, we're always looking to improve the program, make things a little bit easier. In the past, we've been kind of stuck to 45 degrees. We can always, of course, break from that with a shift. So I can come in here and hold shift. But with that, we lose some of the capability of setting that tab in here. And with this, we can now specify exactly what that angle needs to be. All right, so I do want to talk a little bit about the tags here real quick. So we're going to come back to this first kitchen that we have. So again, we can see this kitchen. If I come in here and select this kitchen over here on the right side, we can see in the property view, we actually have the room type and the unit type automatically set in here. So again, I can come in here and set these tags. These tags have always been a very useful part of the program. But now with the new update, if I come back to the view options dropdown, we can come down to the tagging little dropdown we have, and we can actually show if we want to include the room type, the unit type. We can include all these different things within these tags, and now we can see all those details included with this piece here. All right, so another nice little feature we've added here is the multi-hole template tool. So again, we can already see right now we have this kitchen sink along with this faucet hole. So if I want to, I can come in here and round out these edges. We'll set that to a 2-inch radius. And now that I have that set, I can actually select this sink. All I need to do is left click inside that. I can hold Control and left click inside the faucet hole. And now if I just right click, we can come in and add this hole template. So we'll say that this is a sample sink with faucet. As soon as we click OK, the left panel will switch over to our template tool. We can see again on the left side in our whole templates, we can see all these different pieces. So if I need to, I can simply drag and drop in that kitchen sink with that faucet hole in here automatically. All right, so the last thing I want to talk about here in the takeoff side of things is just that display alternate unit settings. So again, I can come over here. Right now we have this drawing selected, so we see the drawing properties in the property view. But if I click outside of this, on the right side, we can actually see the project properties. I can come down to the bottom, towards the bottom at least. We can see this display alternate units line. Let me expand this a little bit. We have this display alternate units right here. We can turn this box on. We can see it's going to add in all those different dimensions that we have, either in metric or imperial. So if we wanted to set the primary to metric, or we can set the alternate to imperial. We can adjust the length unit that it's using, the precision that we're measuring at, and all these different options as well. We can even change the display here as well. So if we wanted to show, we can see right now we have the alternate units just to the right of the primary units. We can also show that below the primary units as well if we want to adjust that and show that in different ways. So again, we can see this on the property view on the right side. These settings over here, I do want to mention, are specific for this project. So this works really well if you're looking to add this for a specific project that maybe you're not always using the imperial or metric units here. But if we are always using both alternate units, we can actually come up to the system settings as well. If we click on the takeoff tab, we can come down and, it's on the measurement tab. We can see this display alternate units option. So we can check that box and include that with all of our future projects as well. All right, so from here, we're going to go ahead and switch over to our worksheets. We are actually going to come back and touch on some things from the takeoff here in just a minute. First, I'm going to take that extra kitchen sink out, but we're going to switch over to the worksheet tab real quick. We can see right now that we have this bid proposal in here, but we're going to do a couple of things. I'm actually going to delete this bid proposal, and you'll see when we do that, we don't have any worksheets. But now with the settings in here, this automation setting, we can see that we have the auto create new worksheet checked. We also have this auto reload button checked as well. So if I come back to the area takeoff and then I come back to the worksheet, you'll see that it's automatically going to add in a new worksheet in here. We can see this worksheet template. I'm using this tag 1 cell by slab template. So we can actually see it's going to load this in automatically. If we want to go back and make some changes, let's go back to our takeoff real quick. We're going to add in a seam, maybe a vertical seam right at this corner. We can do that right there. It's going to create another piece. So now we have C52 and C53. And now when we come back to our worksheet, we'll actually be able to see that new C52 and C53 are automatically included and added to these projects or into this worksheet. So that covers some of the automatic worksheets that we've added in here, some of the automatic creation. Down at the bottom of this worksheet, we can actually see the worksheet summary that I touched on earlier. So we can see, again, the material, the labor cost, the tax that we have set, along with the different totals. Again, if we need to, we can come back and turn that off. So we can just uncheck this box, click OK to see the old-fashioned worksheet that we had. But again, we can turn that back on to get that little summary down at the bottom of every worksheet. Okay, so I skipped over a little bit the pricing options, the variable pricing that we have in the program. I do want to jump back to that a little bit now. So I'm going to jump back to the takeoff here real quick. We're going to switch to the product and services tab, and I'm going to double click on this Fantastico material that I have in the project. When we open this product details window, down at the bottom in the pricing info, we can actually see two new options. So we can see this treat non-rectangular shape as rectangle. We can also see the sell by slab option. So this by default will be checked on. This gives us kind of the usage numbers that we see. So if we're looking on the left side, we can see 121 square feet of usage versus 108 square feet in the net area. Again, this is just measuring whether we want to show the amount of product needed to create a piece versus the actual product or the square footage in that specific piece. So again, if we need to, we can uncheck this box to show the net area pricing. This is going to give us smaller quantities, give us a little bit tighter numbers. But again, maybe we want to show something like that. The other option we have here is the sell by slab feature. So again, we can come in here, check this box. We can set the specific slab pricing for this as well. And you'll see as soon as I hit save, right now we can see that the usage number is 121 square feet for this product. But if we jump back to that worksheet real quick, we can actually see that Fantastico is 174 square feet. So this is typically going to be larger than the usage number for that material. And when we jump over to the Slab Optimizer, we'll see exactly why. So when we switch over here real quick, we can see at the top of this slab layout, we have 174 square feet of slab material versus 129 square feet of actual pieces. Now, this slab material, this is the 3 slabs that we have together. That's the quantity of that square footage. So when we are pricing by slab, that's essentially what we're looking at. And that's what the worksheet is actually taking into account with all these different materials, all these different pieces that we have in here. Now, if we wanted to estimate based on the dry lay or the Slab Optimizer for those slab pricing, again, we can come up to the settings and change that to either the Slab Optimizer or the dry lay for these different options. All right, some of the other little updates here in the worksheet, we can see at the top, we have a new option for the Save as Template tool. So if I wanted to save something like this as a new template, we can just click right here. We can give this a new name. We can click OK. And what that does is allow us to create that new worksheet and reuse this worksheet anytime in a future project that we might need. We can also come in here, click on this Manage Template option. If I wanted to delete or edit or rename any of these, we can do that right here. Click Delete and just click OK. And now that new worksheet option is removed here. I can come in here and add in something like this bid proposal and just include that in here as well. I do want to mention, you might see when we have these sell by slab options in here, we do need to make sure that the grouping is correct, or the grouping in the worksheet matches the grouping in the Slab Optimizer. If not, you will see this little kind of error message here. And basically, the program doesn't know how to proportionally separate these different pieces if we're cutting in a different way in the Slab Optimizer, which does make sense. So maybe I want to go back and actually turn that off for something like this Fantastico material. And as soon as I do that, when we jump back to that worksheet, again, because of that automatic reload, it's going to automatically update these worksheets and show the correct pricing in here based on that product usage. All right, so the last thing we'll touch on here today is the Slab Optimizer and the dry lay. So if I switch over to the Slab Optimizer tab, again, we can see those alternate units that we added in here earlier. So you can see the imperial and the metric units. But at the very top, you'll actually see a couple different options. We have the import takeoff option now as well, alongside the import worksheet, that option that we've had in the past. But we can come in here, hit on this drop down. We can come in and change the grouping here if we need to. So if we wanted to estimate cut these slabs based on unit type, we can click OK. And again, you'll see that the program now will actually automatically load in the Slab Optimizer results. We don't even have to come in and click Start Cut or Cut All. It's just going to automatically do this for us. So now we can come in, see the different units that we have see the number of slabs that we need for each unit, and then start estimating based on these. Another thing that we might notice in here, we can actually see these different alternate units in here, or the different display units in here. You can see as we zoom in here, this little 4 inches that we have will actually adjust. So as soon as we start to zoom out a little bit, it's going to turn that sideways to make it a little bit easier to see those dimensions in these slab layouts. We can actually come in as well to our system settings, and we can come into the drawing style and make changes to those different sizes, the fonts, and kind of show those in a different font or anything else that we might need in here as well. Again, I talked about a little bit earlier. I kind of skimmed over this a little bit in the takeoff side, but if I need to, I can actually come down and view these little tags. So if I wanted to show the room type or the unit type, or maybe just the unit type, we can actually specify that on each one of these different pieces that we have. All right, so again, a lot of these same updates to the Slab Optimizer, like the importing the takeoff or the enhanced dimensions, they also apply to the dry lay. So I'm not going to touch too much on that here, but if we switch over to something like this Fantastico, again, we can come in here, drag in some of these different pieces that we might have. We can snap this up to the top. We can bring this piece to this one as well. But again, we can come in here, and with this new updated right-click menu, we can actually adjust some of these pieces. And I can right-click on this piece here, and now I can come in here and just automatically rotate this without having to select this and come up to the top. I can just come in and rotate this left or right clockwise. I can also rotate this in any direction that I may need, or use the vein direction that we have set for the pieces to just automatically rotate those in here. So again, something like this splash piece, maybe I want to go back to the takeoff and adjust the way that this is set for this piece. But you'll see if I right-click and click auto rotate, it's going to turn that so that this piece orientation is in line with the rest of the pieces that we have in this slab. All right. So again, the last thing I want to touch on here, aside from all these kind of takeoff tools or the nesting tools in here, is just the addition of the help tab. So again, we can see at the very top, we have this help tab. So if I click up here, we can see this is how we can access the cloud. So we can click right here. This will open a web browser at cloud.measuresquare.com, allowing us to jump in, see any cloud projects that we have, share any cloud projects, share our product databases, anything like that. We now have a direct line to email our support. So this will give us questions or answers to the questions that you guys may have and get those questions answered quickly. But we can also see a couple other options in here as well. So with this release history option, this is a great way to go through and check out any of the updates that we have released either today or this past week, or any other past release history that or past release that we have. This will actually include notes and oftentimes screenshots to kind of give you a little bit of an idea of what's included in that update. Next to this, we can also see our knowledge base link. So this goes again to MeasureSquare.com, directly to our knowledge base, so we can search that knowledge base for different questions, maybe questions that people have asked before, or different articles that we have on our website. This online course, this will be a link directly to Udemy. Udemy is just an online learning place where you can go through. We actually have courses available for MeasureSquare Stone as well as MeasureSquare 8. So if you needed to go through and maybe get a little practice project in there, kind of go through all the different steps. There's videos, there's quizzes. It's a great little tool to kind of do some self-learning to get a little bit of confidence or a little bit of learning about the program that way. We also have a button here for the community. This is just our Facebook community. So if you want to go through there, access or ask other users questions, ask them how they're going, how their experience is. It's a great place to go through and interact with other MeasureSquare users instead of just getting questions or answers from the MeasureSquare itself. All right, so we're going to jump back here real quick. We're actually going to jump back to the slide deck. And we're wrapped up here with the demos. We're going to continue on. At the beginning, I mentioned I'm going to show you guys how to update to this new build. Again, with the new version, you'll actually see the help tab. But if you guys are not on this newest version, you can actually go to the cloud tab within the MeasureSquare program. You can see that there up at the top. Or you can directly visit MeasureSquare.com Once you click on that cloud tab, it's going to bring you here. At the very bottom left-hand panel, we can click on software download. We want to click on MeasureSquare Stone for that newest version. It's going to download. Let me go back 1 second. It's going to download that latest version, and once that download is complete, we can just double click on that and install the newest version of MeasureSquare. All right, so we are wrapping up here today. I imagine we have some questions, some things that we want to get answered. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the polls. I encourage anybody to ask any questions that they may have in the Q&A section of the webinar here on the left-hand side. Again, we can go through those, get all those different questions answered for you guys. All right, just taking a look at the polls here. It looks like we have some question or some interest in the fast takeoff, in the custom slab layouts, but a lot of interest in the simple quote building. If I go back to some of the other features that people are looking for, the angle drawing seems to be pretty popular, as well as the automated worksheets and the automatic slab optimization as well. Taha, that's a great question. Can stone flooring and walls be estimated through this version? Yes, that is a great question. So I can touch on that a little bit here. Hang on 1 second. Yes, the stone version, the stone and tile version can definitely handle bathroom walls and anything like that. If I wanted to switch over from the area takeoff up at the top, we can switch to something like the room takeoff. In this project, I actually don't have a bathroom or a wall example, but I can still draw this out in free space over here. So if I wanted to draw something like this, we'll come down maybe 60 inches for a tub. We'll say maybe 40 inches. Maybe this is our bathroom in here. We can see it's going to come in automatically with the stone that we were using earlier. But again, I can come in, utilize something like the elevation tool, just like we can in MeasureSquare 8. We're going to find the 30-inch mark here real quick. We're going to pull this straight down. This will add our tub deck here for us. We can adjust the height there real quick, maybe at 18 inches. I'm going to pull this edge here a little bit out. But again, just like MeasureSquare 8, we can come in here, view the walls, see all those different details in here. We can come back, add different wall base, different shower tile, all those different details we can add directly in here. So I'm going to go through and build this out for Taha real quick. But if anybody else has any other questions, feel free to ask those in the Q&A section. You can see I can bring that base all the way around our floor. Let me go ahead and find something like this 12 by 24 and drop this in. We'll drop in a vertical wall stack for our shower over here. We can use, let's see here. We'll find a stone tile, maybe for something like the side shower walls. So we can add those in here. We have the basic pattern in here, but of course I can come in here and create custom patterns just like I can in MeasureSquare 8. I can also add in maybe a cut to size product, maybe let's see here, I should have a Calcutta in here. We can drop something like that in. And again, just like we can with the kitchen layouts, I can come in, take a look at this bathroom, and we can see all the different 3D views. So we can see the tile textures, both on the floor, the base, the shower walls, as well as this back wall here for the shower panel. Does the program allow us to create cut sheets that we can send to fabrication shops? That's a great question. So we can do this in a couple of different ways. So the Slab Optimizer will create all the different slab layouts for us. We can export these PDFs either to PDF, or sorry, export these results either to PDF or to AutoCAD. The AutoCAD will create a DXF file with all these different layouts as files that we can export that way. We can also utilize something like the shop drawing. If we're looking for more cut tickets instead of actual slab layouts, you can see right now we have essentially each different unit in here. But if I wanted to import this takeoff, and instead of using the unit type to create these, I can use something like the each option. We can click OK. And you can see now it's just going to create essentially one shop drawing or cut sheet for every single piece and the child piece associated with that. So we can see here is our C52 with C52/1, C53, C51, all these different pieces in here for all these different areas. And the nice thing about these shop drawings, these are pretty robust. If we take a look down at the title block down at the bottom, we can see the material name is automatically included, the unit, the room, the quantity, the thickness, all of these different details. If we actually click on these, we'll actually see that this is actually pulling in from tag 2, this is pulling in tag 1, this is pulling in the quantity, thickness. These are all just macros that are just automatically updated and brought in directly from all the different takeoff details we've added. Even something like these edge details here. Right now in this shop drawing, I'm actually showing these edge details as a symbol. So we can see that I have this little ease edge symbol image down in the bottom right. That just indicates that we have the ease edge here. If I actually come in, we can actually turn that to the linear product as a line, similar to the takeoff that we have. But again, for something like a shop drawing or a cut sheet, we can show something like this as the symbol to give us a little bit more familiarity with the guys in the shop, the guys that are actually using these to fabricate. All good questions so far. And again, I want to stress, if anybody has maybe more advanced or more detailed questions, or maybe they want to schedule a one-on-one demo, we can definitely schedule something like that and get that kind of lined up so we can kind of dive into more detail and really kind of focus on getting to kind of some more detailed aspects of these questions. All right, and we are just getting ready to post another poll here to the chat. It looks like it's not yet available, but it should be here in just a minute. I'll definitely let you guys know when that is available. Again, I appreciate all the feedback. I appreciate the questions, appreciate the answers to the polls there. That's very helpful here in this webinar. I hope I answered your questions, Taha and Adonis. All right. So it looks like we still have quite a few people in here. Again, if you guys have any questions, anything else you guys want to see with the program, feel free to just add that to the Q&A. We can definitely get those questions answered for you guys. Yes, thank you, Keelan. This video, we will have this recording available for anybody that wants to see the recording or share the recording with anyone. This video recording will be available tomorrow afternoon. All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for joining here today. I appreciate the feedback. I appreciate the questions. Again, if anybody needs the recording, we will have that available, and we will send that out tomorrow afternoon. Again, I wanted to thank everyone. Appreciate everyone taking the time out to join us here for the webinar today. And I look forward to meeting with some of you guys here in the near future to discuss the program here in a little bit more detail and really dive into kind of what you guys are looking to get out of the program and what we can do to kind of help some of the different processes that you guys are doing on a day-to-day basis. So again, thank you guys so much, and I look forward to speaking with you guys soon.